New Bachelorette Taylor Frankie Paul hits on Stephen McBee, September 30th, 2025. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News fans. Stephen McBee and Taylor Frankie Paul already have one thing in common. They both went on reality TV to find love. He was one of the leads on Fox's Joe Millionaire for Richer or Poorer reboot in 2022. She was recently named the next lead on ABC's popular The Bachelorette show. But the new season hasn't started filming yet. Maybe it won't after Taylor Frankie Paul got flirty with Stephen McBee. What comment had fans thinking they'd be the perfect couple? Keep reading to see it. Bachelorette Season 22 casting shocker divides fans. Jen Tran's season of The Bachelorette ended in heartbreak. She revealed on the After the Final Rose special that Devon Strader ended their engagement after just a few months. She accused him of basically ghosting her after they got engaged on TV. After uproar from viewers, ABC put the show on pause for 2025. Season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise aired this summer, and a second Golden Bachelor takes over the fall time slot. But in a twist no one saw coming, the network announced the next Bachelorette lead in September. The news was unexpected because The Bachelor was just renewed for season 30, and fans expected it to premiere in January. But it seems ABC has other plans. The new Bachelorette season is reportedly taking over the time slot and premieres in early 2026. They went outside the franchise for the first time in years to find the season 22 lead. But Taylor Frankie Paul isn't unfamiliar to reality TV fans. She stars on Hulu's The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives show. The reality series follows a few Mormon wives as they navigate their faith and relationships. Taylor Frankie Paul hits on Stephen McBee. Taylor Frankie Paul famously revealed on TikTok that she was part of a soft-swinging friend group. The revelation led to her husband, Tate Paul, filing for divorce. The former couple shares custody of their 2 children. After her divorce, Taylor Frankie Paul dated Dakota Mortensen. They welcomed a daughter today in 2024. They split earlier this year. Stephen McBee turned his stint on Joe Millionaire into the McBee Dynasty show about his family. He recently shared a picture on social media with his brother Cole's daughter, Blair. The adorable photo received a lot of comments, but one stood out. Bachelorette Taylor Paul Frankie wrote, "Best Uncle" on the post. While not overly flirty, fans immediately started rooting for the two to start dating. Fans are into the possible pairing. Taylor Frankie Paul is supposed to start a new journey to love in a few months, but what if she accidentally found it now? Reality TV fans couldn't get over the idea of Stephen McBee and the Bachelorette star dating. One fan wrote, "She has a type. I can see these two, TBH." Another added, "They are both toxic. This tracks." A third wrote, "They'd make a horrible couple. They should totally get together." But not everyone agreed they'd make a good couple. One Debbie Downer ruined the vibe by declaring, "Yeah, he's never moving to Utah, so they wouldn't ever date long-term if they did." Stephen McBee's family farm is in Gallatin, Missouri, quite the distance from Utah, where Taylor Frankie Paul lives with her 3 kids. New episodes of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives air on Hulu starting on November 13th. Check out the trailer below and let us know in the comments if you think Taylor Paul Frankie and Stephen McBee should date. The champagne glasses were clinking, and the whole world of Bachelor Nation was on edge. But no one, absolutely no one, could have predicted what happened next. Taylor Frankie Paul, the headline-grabbing new Bachelorette who had already redefined what it meant to be a reality TV lead, suddenly turned her gaze not at her 25 suitors waiting to win her heart, but it's someone else entirely. Not just anyone. Stephen McBee. Yes, that Stephen McBee, the rugged Missouri farmer turned reality TV heartthrob from Joe Millionaire. The man who'd managed to capture the hearts of fans with his quiet charm and down-to-earth honesty. And in one shocking moment, Taylor made a move that had viewers screaming, Bachelor Nation blogs melting down, and even her contestants wondering if they had flown across the country just to be background noise in a completely different love story. This is the story of how Taylor Frankie Paul, TikTok star, scandal survivor, and now America's most talked about Bachelorette, hit on Stephen McBee, and what unfolded when sparks flew in a place no one expected. A Bachelorette like no other. Taylor Frankie Paul wasn't like the Bachelorettes before her. Where others came in with polished resumes of heartbreak and redemption arcs, Taylor came with baggage. Lots of it. She'd already been a lightning rod on social media, her mom talk fame giving her millions of followers, but also a reputation that made the internet love her one minute and drag her the next. She wasn't afraid of being messy, of speaking her truth, or of showing her flaws in a way that both terrified ABC producers and delighted their ratings department. When she was announced as the next Bachelorette, the headlines practically wrote themselves. Taylor Frankie Paul, can reality TV's wildest mom handle 25 men? The most controversial Bachelorette ever? Taylor's looking for love, but is America ready for her? From the start, Taylor's season was designed to be different. Instead of a polished mansion entrance with men in tuxedos, her limo arrivals were a parade of chaos. One suitor brought a baby goat to fit her mom talk vibe. Another came in shirtless with a TikTok dance prepared, and a third literally rolled up on a John Deere tractor. The season promised drama, but even the most cynical producers couldn't have predicted what would happen during week 3. That was the night Taylor locked eyes with Stephen McBee. Stephen McBee wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't a contestant. He wasn't a guest star. He wasn't even in the mansion when the night began. He had been invited, quietly, as a favor to producers. With Joe Millionaire behind him and a new business venture underway, ABC wanted to test the waters of cross-franchise star power. Maybe he'd host a group date. Maybe he'd offer advice to Taylor's suitors. Nothing serious, nothing more. But the moment he walked into the cocktail party, everything shifted. Tall, broad-shouldered, with that quiet farm boy confidence that made women weak in the knees, Stephen didn't look like the average Bachelor alum who thrived on flash. He was authentic. He was grounded. And for Taylor, whose season had been a circus of over-the-top gestures, he was like a breath of fresh air. She spotted him across the room, glass of bourbon in his hand, chatting casually with a producer. And then it happened. She didn't wait for the cameras to guide her. She didn't signal to the producers. She simply crossed the room, heels clicking on the marble floor, eyes fixed on him. "Stephen McBee, what are you doing here? Trying to steal my show?" He laughed, his smile slow and devastating. "Just passing through. But now I'm starting to think maybe I should stay." The room went silent. 25 men watched their bachelorette ignore them completely in favor of another man, one not even competing for her rose. The scandal had begun. The cocktail party meltdown. The cocktail party that night descended into chaos. The suitors, already nervous about their dwindling time with Taylor, now had to watch her lean against the bar with Stephen, laughing in a way that made it clear she wasn't just being polite. One contestant, Jordan, a firefighter from Chicago, muttered under his breath, "What is even happening right now? That guy's not even in the house." Another, Liam, a real estate agent with slicked back hair, wasn't so quiet. He marched right up to the bar. "Taylor, you've got 25 guys here waiting to talk to you. If you wanted to date Stephen McBee, you should have signed up for his show, not dragged us all here." Gasps. Camera zoomed in. Taylor, never one to back down, lifted her glass and smiled sweetly. "Liam, if you're threatened by me having a conversation, maybe you're not as confident as you want me to believe." The crowd erupted. Some contestants stormed outside, venting to producers. Others tried to strategize about how to win back her attention. And meanwhile, Taylor and Stephen slipped onto a balcony, microphones catching every word of their dangerously flirtatious conversation. Sparks on the balcony. The balcony scene would go down as one of the most iconic moments in Bachelor Nation history. The stars aligned perfectly. Soft lighting, a glass of champagne in Taylor's hand, Stephen's slow drawl as he leaned casually against the railing. "You know," Taylor said, tilting her head, "I didn't expect to be more interested in the surprise guest than half the guys in my season." He chuckled, his smile slow and devastating. Dangerous thing to say on camera. Maybe I like dangerous. The tension was undeniable. Their conversation drifted from small talk to real talk, about family, about fame, about what it felt like to be both adored and attacked by millions online. "You get it," Taylor admitted softly, her voice almost breaking. "The pressure, the judgment, everyone waiting for you to fail." Stephen looked at her with an intensity that made Bachelor Nation collectively swoon. "Yeah, I get it, but you're stronger than you think." A pause. Then Taylor said the words that would set Twitter ablaze. "So what if I gave you a rose tonight instead?" The fallout, when the episode aired, the internet exploded. Reddit threads multiplied by the hour. Tweets flew faster than roses at a Bachelor finale. Instagram accounts dedicated to Bachelor Nation gossip churned out theories by the dozen. Taylor Frankie Paul hitting on Stephen McBee? Iconic. This is either the best or worst season ever. Her poor contestants, they don't stand a chance. Even past Bachelor stars weighed in. Caitlin Bristow called it chaotic, but kind of genius. Nick Viall simply tweeted, "I knew it." Meanwhile, the men in Taylor's house weren't handling it well. Jealousy reached new heights, alliances crumbled, and more than one contestant threatened to walk out if Stephen was allowed to stay. The producers, of course, fanned the flames. Rumors spread that they were considering officially bringing Stephen in as a wild card contestant. Taylor didn't confirm it, but she didn't deny it either. What happens next? The weeks that followed blurred the lines between showmance and realmance. Stephen appeared again, first as a special guest on a group date, then at a rose ceremony to support Taylor. Each time, their chemistry grew more obvious. Each time, the men grew more furious. Was Taylor sabotaging her own season? Was Stephen just a publicity stunt? Or were fans witnessing the birth of a crossover love story that no one could have scripted? By the time hometown dates rolled around, the rumor mill was in overdrive. Some insiders claimed Taylor had secretly been texting Stephen off camera. Others insisted the producers were rewriting the rules on the fly to keep him in play. The truth? Only Taylor and Stephen knew. But one thing was undeniable. Bachelor Nation had never been this invested. The Rose of Rebellion. The season's most shocking moment came during the rose ceremony in week 7. Taylor stood before her men, roses lined up on a silver tray. The tension was unbearable. One by one, she called names. But when she got to the final rose, she paused. "I can't," she whispered. Gasps filled the room. Instead of handing the last rose to one of the remaining contestants, Taylor walked across the room, straight to Stephen McBee. "Stephen," she said softly, "will you accept this rose?" The room erupted. Contestants stormed out, producers scrambled. Twitter practically melted down. And Stephen? He smiled, that quiet, devastating smile. "Yeah, I will." The aftermath. What followed was Bachelor Nation history. Some fans called it the death of the franchise. Others called it the most real thing we've ever seen. Ratings soared, breaking records. Tabloids splashed their faces across front pages. Was it love? Was it strategy? Was it both? Only Taylor and Stephen could answer that. But one thing was undeniable. Their story had changed the game forever.